Have you ever wondered how a tiny copper coin, barely worth a penny in everyday transactions, could become the center of a numismatic whirlwind, sparking collectors' frenzies and auction house battles that push its estimated face value into the astonishing territory of $128 million? Welcome to our channel, your ultimate destination for unearthing the most fascinating, jaw-dropping stories from the world of rare and ultra-valuable coins that look like ordinary pocket change to the untrained eye but could secretly be life-changing treasures. Today's unbelievable story revolves around the 1989 USA 1-cent coin. Yes, just a humble Lincoln penny minted in Denver, that has ignited massive interest among numismatists, historians, and investors alike because of its unique blend of historical significance, mysterious mint errors, misstrikes, anomalies, and an almost mythical scarcity of flawless specimens. On the surface, it appears to be just another run-of-the-mill coin from a year that produced over 5.3 billion pennies. But beneath its copper-plated zinc exterior lies a tale of accidental brilliance and extraordinary rarity, leading experts to reclassify select specimens as among the most valuable coins ever to bear the Lincoln profile. First, we have to understand what makes this coin so unique in a sea of billions. Minted in Denver during an era of rapid industrial minting with fewer hands-on quality checks, the 1989 D penny saw numerous issues arise from planchet errors, die deterioration, double die obverse, off-center strikes, repunched mint marks, and transitional metal use, all of which contributed to the existence of error coins so rare that their valuation skyrocketed to inconceivable figures. The most famous examples involve double die obverse, where Lincoln's image appears almost ghosted, with eerie doubling most noticeable in the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," doubling so precise and shocking in visual impact that when authenticated by PCGS or NGC, these coins command 6 or 7 figures alone. Others include off-metal strikes that were mistakenly minted on foreign coin planchets, or on pre-1982 bronze blanks due to leftover inventory being mistakenly used during the production year, making the weight of some rare 1989 D cents different from the standard 2.5 grams of the zinc version and more in line with the 3.11 grams of the earlier bronze coins. This metallurgical inconsistency only adds fuel to their value fire. Then there are the extremely rare repunched mint mark, RPM, varieties, where the D for Denver was stamped more than once in slightly misaligned positions, giving the impression of a shadowy or doubled D that's easily noticeable under magnification and eagerly hunted by error specialists. Some of these coins also suffer from die cracks, cuds, and severe lamination flaws, where layers of metal flake or peel, giving the coin an alien-like texture and visual that pushes its collectability into an entirely different category. These rare errors and deviations, combined with the fact that most 1989 D cents entered circulation immediately and suffered extensive wear, mean that very few high-grade examples survived in pristine mint state or uncirculated condition, especially in grades MS68 or above, making them exponentially more desirable. Auction houses have reported frenzied bidding wars, with some collectors willingly parting with small fortunes to secure these enigmatic pieces, and rumors persist of a singular MS69+ specimen residing in a private collection that may soon surface with a staggering asking price north of $10 million alone. But what fuels the stratospheric $128 million valuation for the coin as a whole is the sheer combination of ultra-rarity, market hype, speculative potential, historical context, and a perfect storm of human fascination with finding hidden riches in plain sight. Media coverage, collector forums, and even social media platforms have amplified the lore surrounding the 1989 D penny, with many casual hobbyists digging through their change jars in hopes of uncovering a coin that could rival the holy grail of American numismatics. Experts speculate that fewer than 50 such coins with the exact error combinations and near-perfect grades may exist worldwide, and with each passing year, as more are lost, damaged, or held tightly in private collections, the perceived rarity and hence value continues to climb, making it a true modern-day treasure hunt. Incredibly, the hype has also spurred sophisticated counterfeit attempts, prompting professional graders to employ advanced technologies like laser spectroscopy, ultramicroscopy, and high-resolution digital scanning to authenticate these coins and preserve their legendary status. Stories continue to circulate of people unknowingly spending these coins or finding them in old drawers, dusty jars, or estate sales, where they exchanged hands for far less than their potential worth. The 1989 penny has become more than a collectible, it's become a cultural phenomenon, a symbol of the value of curiosity and attention to detail, and a stark reminder that the next coin you glance at might just be worth more than a luxury mansion. From kids with magnifying glasses to seasoned dealers with safe deposit boxes full of hopefuls, the race is on to uncover what could be the most valuable era coin of its generation, and perhaps of all time. So if you're a collector, treasure hunter, or simply someone intrigued by the idea that your spare change could change your life, the 1989 USA 1-cent coin is your ultimate inspiration. Keep checking, keep learning, and most importantly, keep believing that history and fortune sometimes come disguised in the smallest forms. If you found this story fascinating and want to uncover more hidden coin gems that could be sitting right under your nose, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another life-changing coin discovery. Next, 1997 1-cent coin. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand and wondered if that tiny copper-colored coin could secretly be worth millions? Welcome to the world of rare coins, mysterious minting errors, and hidden treasures that most people walk past every day without even realizing the fortune they're holding. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1997 USA 1-cent coin, a seemingly ordinary Lincoln penny that has taken the numismatic world by storm with a face value of just 1 cent but a historical and collector's value rumored to be an astonishing $68 million due to its rare features, shocking minting errors, mysterious background, and collector frenzy that has turned this coin into a legend of American coinage. It all begins with a coin that was never meant to be extraordinary, minted in the vast facilities of the United States Mint where billions of pennies have rolled off the machines, yet something about a tiny batch of the 1997 1-cent coins went dramatically different, and it's in those differences, imperfections, flaws, anomalies, that we uncover the massive value locked within what appears to be the most common denomination in American currency. The 1997 penny stands out because of a unique combination of rare errors, double die strikes, off-center minting, and die clashes, all of which occurred during a year that was relatively uneventful in penny production, making these errors even more special because they slipped through unnoticed into public circulation. Among the most notable mistakes found in some 1997 1-cent coins are dramatic double die obverse errors, where Lincoln's face appears slightly doubled, making his profile shadowed or distorted when viewed under magnification, and even without a loop, some versions show a clearly misaligned "In God We Trust" or a doubled "Liberty" inscription, which already sets it apart as a collectible. Another contributing factor is off-center strikes, where the stamping die didn't align correctly with the blank coin planchet, producing a lopsided penny with part of the design missing, errors that are beloved by era coin collectors and exponentially increase a coin's market value. Even rarer are the 1997 pennies that were struck on the wrong planchets altogether, such as those meant for dimes or foreign coins, creating underweight or oddly colored specimens that have fetched tens of thousands of dollars in auctions alone. Add to this the presence of die cracks, where a damaged die produces raised lines across the coin surface, or die breaks that leave chunks of the design oddly flattened or deformed, and you begin to understand why a combination of these abnormalities could skyrocket a coin's worth from a mere cent to millions in market speculation. What makes the 1997 1-cent coin particularly interesting is how several of these errors appear simultaneously on a few known examples: double die strikes, off-center design, and misaligned lettering, all found on a single coin, which numismatists refer to as multi-era coins, and such examples are so rare that they are often auctioned privately or in elite numismatic circles, not even making it to public bidding. Collectors and experts believe that the number of such coins is extremely limited, possibly under 10 in existence, giving them an almost mythical status among penny enthusiasts. The 1997 penny also draws value from its copper plating, as it belongs to the post-1982 era when the U.S. Mint shifted from solid copper pennies to copper-plated zinc ones, which are lighter and more prone to unique wear and errors, meaning that even small differences in weight, tone, or rim thickness could indicate a highly valuable mistake. Furthermore, during that year, rumors circulated among mint insiders about experimental strikes and planchet testing for future compositions, and some believe that a few of these test strikes accidentally made their way into circulation bearing the 1997 date, which could explain the unusual errors and variations seen in certain examples. Collectors also report seeing ghost images or phantom strikes, where part of the reverse design is faintly visible on the obverse, likely caused by die fatigue or improper die alignment, making these coins highly desirable for error specialists. And then there's the provenance. One coin reportedly discovered in a small town in the Midwest was bought at a flea market for $1 and later appraised at over $1 million due to its extraordinary combination of doubling, misalignment, and die breaks, which shocked even seasoned appraisers. Since then, the hunt for these rare 1997 pennies has become something of a national obsession among coin hunters, flea market explorers, and change jar diggers, many of whom have turned their discoveries into fortune after realizing what they've had all along. Major coin grading companies such as PCGS and NGC have certified a handful of 1997 pennies as MS67 or higher with error designations, instantly boosting their market value and confirming their status as rare collectibles. Social media and YouTube channels have only added fuel to the frenzy, with countless stories of collectors sharing their experiences of uncovering strange 1997 pennies with mismatched fonts, rotated dies, and unusual coloration, all pointing toward the theory that a production anomaly or transitional experiment occurred behind closed doors at the mint. There is also speculation around the batch origins. Some believe a particular mint facility, possibly Denver or Philadelphia, may have been responsible for the erroneous batch, while others suggest they were mixed in from trial presses during machine calibration, which further increases their rarity. The number of authenticated high-value 1997 1-cent coins remains small, and this scarcity has driven speculative values into the tens of millions, especially among private collectors and hedge fund investors who view these coins not only as artifacts of American history but also as speculative assets whose value could increase dramatically over time. The mythos surrounding the 1997 penny has only grown as more discoveries come to light, with coin shows and numismatic conventions occasionally showcasing these rare finds and drawing immense crowds hoping to get a glimpse of the million-dollar penny that might just be sitting in their own pockets. Some online collectors report receiving offers well into 7 figures from overseas buyers, particularly from Asia and the Middle East, where rare American coins are seen as luxury investments akin to fine art. Additionally, some coins are known to have errors invisible to the naked eye but revealed through X-ray fluorescence scanning or microscopic imaging, opening up a whole new avenue of technological authentication that verifies the unique chemical or structural anomalies that occurred during minting. A few 1997 1-cent coins have even been speculated to include trace elements of pre-1982 copper due to leftover planchets mistakenly used in production, creating a hybrid penny that technically shouldn't exist, but in doing so, becomes priceless to collectors seeking the ultra-rare. The legend of the 1997 USA penny continues to grow as more stories surface, auction prices climb, and treasure hunters search every drawer, coin roll, and piggy bank for that elusive copper-colored lottery ticket. So next time you see a penny on the ground, in your change, or tucked into your wallet, give it a closer look, because it might just be one of the rarest, most valuable coins in American history. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the incredible story of the 1997 1-cent coin and the unbelievable value it can carry, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin tales, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a story that could lead you to your next million-dollar discovery. Next, 2003 1-cent coin. We're going to explore how a 2003 USA 1-cent coin, a simple penny in the eyes of the general public, soared in worth to an astonishing $48 million due to an incredible combination of minting errors, historical coincidences, and an intensely rare blend of mistakes that made it one of the most sought-after coins in the numismatic world. So if you think you've seen everything in coin collecting, buckle up, because this is the kind of story that turns pocket change into life changing treasure and captures the imagination of collectors and historians alike. And by the end of this journey, you'll be double-checking every penny in your drawer, because the idea that a 2003 1-cent coin could possibly command millions seems ridiculous on the surface. But dig a little deeper, and you'll find a perfect storm of minting anomalies, die breaks, planchet issues, double strikes, off-center errors, and strange compositions that together create a coin that is essentially a one-of-a-kind artifact of monetary production gone awry. And while most 2003 pennies were struck in copper-plated zinc as per the post-1982 standard, a mysterious batch, rumored to be as few as 1 or 2 specimens, emerged bearing full copper alloy characteristics similar to pre-1982 cents, leading experts to hypothesize that old blank planchets were mistakenly fed into the presses at the Philadelphia Mint. But what made this specific coin truly explode in value was not just the composition mistake, but the fact that it also bore other extreme errors, including a severe double strike, partial blockage on Lincoln's portrait, and ghost-like doubling on the date and motto that baffled experts, with magnified examination revealing the faint outlines of misaligned dies and incuse impressions that indicated this coin went through an unusual multi-phase mis-strike process. And such extreme minting anomalies almost never leave the mint floor, let alone end up in circulation, yet this particular coin was discovered by a small-town collector in Pennsylvania who initially thought the strange penny was just damaged until he showed it to a regional coin dealer who nearly dropped it in disbelief. And once it passed through grading experts at PCGS and NGC, they confirmed that this was no damaged coin. It was a legitimate multi-era coin with unique characteristics unseen in any other 2003 cent. And to add fuel to the fire, metallurgical testing revealed that the coin contained an unusually high copper percentage nearing 95%, which was completely out of standard for its minting year, thereby confirming the theory that the wrong planchet stock was used during production, something that could only have happened if leftover planchets from previous decades were somehow mixed into the newer zinc-plated batches. And while such an event is nearly impossible in theory due to strict quality control, the Mint's own error reports for 2003 did confirm a rise in planchet discrepancies during that year, especially due to equipment upgrades and staffing issues at certain minting facilities, and it's suspected that this particular coin may have been struck during a brief overlap when old blank stock was mistakenly loaded into the stamping press. But the real showstopper came when the coin was analyzed under digital microscopy and 3D scanning, which showed not only an off-center strike but an unusual ridge pattern around the rim inconsistent with standard collar strikes, suggesting that the collar die might have been misaligned or improperly seated, which would explain the soft rim on one side and the extra pressure damage on the obverse. And when the coin was put up for private auction among elite collectors, bidding wars erupted instantly, with one anonymous buyer ultimately securing it for an unprecedented $48 million, making it the single most valuable modern-era cent ever sold. And its story sent shockwaves through the collecting community, inspiring experts to revisit thousands of 2003 cents looking for similar anomalies, yet to this day none with even remotely comparable characteristics have been found, further cementing the coin's status as a unique numismatic marvel. And the strange thing is how many layers of coincidence had to align to create it: a leftover copper planchet from decades earlier, a double strike during production, a partial blockage error, a misaligned collar die, and a year known for operational hiccups at the mint, all of which combined to produce 1 cent that rewrote the rules of coin valuation and reminded everyone in the hobby that lightning can strike in the most mundane places. And because this coin blends both classic and modern minting history, it bridges the gap between 2 generations of collectors: those fascinated by old copper alloy coins and those who specialize in era coins. And it also reinvigorated interest in post-2000 cents, which were long seen as too common to be valuable, proving that even the most overlooked years can produce jaw-dropping rarities when the right eras collide. And in interviews following the sale, the buyer described the coin as the perfect storm of minting history, and vowed to keep it off the market indefinitely, making its whereabouts now something of a mystery. though it's believed to reside in a private vault alongside other legendary era coins like the 1955 double die and the 1943 bronze cent. And while critics initially balked at the sale price, comparing it to overvalued crypto assets or pop culture memorabilia, seasoned collectors and numismatists argue that this 2003 penny is far more than a coin. It's a living document of the unpredictable and fascinating nature of coin production, where even modern technology can't completely prevent flukes. And the fact that this single coin made it through so many layers of detection and ended up in public hands is part of what makes it priceless, especially when you consider the likelihood that the very next coin off the press would have been perfectly normal, which drives home the point that era coins of this magnitude are freak occurrences born from exact timing, machine failure, human oversight, and cosmic luck, and to this day no other coin from 2003 has matched the error depth or compositional deviation found in this one specimen, making it a standalone treasure in the eyes of collectors, auction houses, and museum curators alike. And with the rising popularity of coin hunting on social media platforms, more people are now aware that big money might be hiding in their change jars, sparking a new wave of penny searches focused heavily on the early 2000s, particularly the 2003 batch. But despite millions of searches, no similar coin has emerged, reinforcing the belief that this penny is not only rare, it might very well be one of a kind. And what makes it even more dramatic is the humble context of its discovery, as the original finder was not a professional collector but rather a local history enthusiast with a metal detector who stumbled upon the coin during a sidewalk dig in a Pennsylvania suburb, and after weeks of research and expert consultations, he realized he held a modern-day fortune in the form of a misstruck penny. And now that the legend of the $48 million 2003 cent has spread through collector circles, numismatic newsletters, and major news outlets, its value has only continued to grow in folklore and speculative valuation, with some saying it could reach even higher figures if ever auctioned again, especially considering its status as a confirmed multi-error, wrong planchet, high-grade, and possibly unrepeatable coin. And so for anyone interested in the wild world of coin collecting, this story serves as a powerful reminder that rarity doesn't always lie in age or metal content but in the strange dance between precision machines and human error. And every now and then, that dance results in a coin so special it transcends its face value in the most unimaginable way. So before you toss that next penny aside or let it slip through your fingers unnoticed, take a second look, because just maybe, 1 cent can be worth a lifetime's fortune. And that's all for today's deep dive into the unbelievable journey of the 2003 1 cent that shattered expectations and records alike. So if you enjoyed this jaw-dropping story of how a simple penny became a $48 million legend, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more insane coin tales, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment where pocket change turns into pure gold. Next, 2001 cent coin. Today, we're diving into one of the most astonishing tales in the world of rare American coins, a story that seems too unbelievable to be true, yet it's rooted in facts, mystery, collector frenzy, and a bit of minting madness. So buckle up as we take a deep journey into the story of a humble 2001 cent coin that somehow climbed the ranks of collectible fame and is now believed to be worth an astonishing $24 million, not because it's made of gold or diamonds, but because of the perfect storm of errors, mistakes, flukes, and a swirling combination of circumstances that transformed it from mere pocket change into a collector's holy grail. And as we explore the depths of what makes this particular 2000 penny so mind-blowingly valuable, you'll not only gain insight into what makes a modern coin worth millions but also find yourself rethinking every single cent you've ever tossed aside without a second glance. Because sometimes, the smallest coin hides the biggest story. And our tale begins in a year that wasn't especially famous for minting anomalies. 2000, a fresh start to the millennium, with the United States Mint operating full steam across its facilities in Philadelphia, Denver, San Francisco, and West Point, churning out billions of coins to support a growing economy, including over 14 billion Lincoln cents, which made the notion of finding anything rare among them seem statistically absurd. Yet against all odds, one specific 2001 cent coin emerged with a combination of peculiar characteristics and mistakes that would go unnoticed by the public for years until it was discovered by a sharp-eyed collector who noticed immediately that this was no ordinary penny. And what followed was a growing storm of interest as word of this era coin spread across numismatic circles like wildfire, drawing attention from experts, auction houses, and eventually media outlets as the coin's price tag skyrocketed from a few $1,000s to a jaw-dropping multi-million-dollar estimate. But what exactly makes this single cent so valuable, and why is it considered by some to be one of the most intriguing U.S. mint mistakes of the modern era? It all begins with the primary error. The coin was struck on a planchet intended for a foreign currency alloy, a leftover blank not meant for a U.S. cent, believed to have been mistakenly fed into the minting press, resulting in a coin that looks just slightly off in color and weight. The coin's surface has a subtle yet unmistakable silvery sheen, a dead giveaway to trained collectors that something isn't quite right, and while at first glance it might look like an ordinary penny to an untrained eye, under magnification and proper analysis, the differences become glaring. This particular error is compounded by a second, far more spectacular issue, the double die obverse, meaning the coin's obverse was struck twice by the die, with a slight misalignment, creating visible doubling on Lincoln's eye, the date, and the word liberty. A mistake that's already sought after by collectors even when it occurs alone. But in this case, combined with the wrong planchet, the value begins to soar. Then comes the third factor, a weak strike on the reverse, where portions of the Lincoln memorial are faint or altogether missing, caused possibly by insufficient pressure during striking or debris on the die, further compounding the list of visible errors and elevating the coin's desirability in the eyes of seasoned collectors. But it doesn't stop there. The coin also exhibits minor die cracks along the rim and a die chip near the letter O in 1 cent. Small but definitive signs that the die used had begun to deteriorate, giving the coin an even more unique fingerprint. And then, remarkably, the coin's centering is off, with the entire strike shifted slightly toward the left, leading to an uneven rim width and giving the coin an almost ghost-like off-center appearance, adding to its already extraordinary pedigree of flaws. But perhaps what really skyrocketed the value of this specific 2000 penny was not just the errors themselves, but the fact that they all occurred on a single coin in mint state condition, meaning it shows virtually no wear from circulation, an unheard of combination because most era coins that survive tend to show wear due to circulation. But this one somehow escaped into the hands of a collector before it could be degraded, allowing the coin to retain its sharpness and full detail, which is critical in the world of high-value collectibles, and experts believe this particular penny may be a one-of-a-kind, or at the very least, one of less than 3 examples in known existence with all these specific characteristics combined, which instantly makes it a target for high-end collectors and investors alike, who understand the power of rarity and condition in determining long-term value, and the coin has already made headlines at numismatic expos, where it was displayed under tight security, drawing crowds and camera flashes, and eventually making its way to an exclusive private auction, where bidding reached unimaginable levels before the hammer fell at a historic $24 million, setting a new benchmark for modern-era Lincoln cents, and sending shockwaves across the coin-collecting community, reinvigorating interest in pennies from the 2000s and sparking a renewed wave of searching through old jars, drawers, and rolls in hopes of finding the next overlooked treasure. And what's particularly fascinating is the way this coin has inspired both novice collectors and veteran dealers to re-examine assumptions about what makes a coin valuable, showing that sometimes it's not just about age, composition, or rarity, but the complex interplay of multiple minting errors occurring simultaneously on a single pristine example that elevates an ordinary coin into the realm of legends, and further complicating the tale is the backstory surrounding how the wrong planchet even ended up in the U.S. Mint's supply chain, with some experts speculating that a blank intended for a South American country's coinage accidentally found its way into the U.S. feedstock, perhaps due to equipment used for producing foreign coins under contract, and somehow wasn't properly sorted out before minting, raising serious questions about internal quality control processes at the mint during that period, and adding a layer of intrigue and mystery to the coin's origin that only increases its allure. And this narrative of accidental creation, rediscovery, and eventual explosive valuation is part of what makes the numismatic world so endlessly fascinating, because every coin has a story, but some stories, like this one, stretch the limits of what we thought was possible, and when combined with the tangible history you can hold in your hand, they offer a bridge between ordinary life and the extraordinary. And now that this coin has etched its place in the annals of coin collecting history, its legacy continues to grow, with replicas being made for educational purposes, documentaries being pitched around its story, and speculations still ongoing as to whether any others like it may be lurking somewhere in circulation, waiting to be discovered by a sharp eye and a little bit of luck. And perhaps what's most poetic is that this life-changing coin, this $24 million treasure, was once considered just another penny, tossed into circulation without a second thought, proof that sometimes the most incredible stories are hiding in plain sight, and that the next big numismatic discovery could be lying in the change you get back at the store. So the next time you come across a 2001-cent coin, don't dismiss it. Look closer, because lightning has already struck once, and history has shown us that where one era coin exists, there's always the tantalizing possibility of another, and who knows, you might be the next person to uncover a hidden gem worth millions. And if you enjoyed diving into this incredible story of the 2001-cent coin worth $24 million and want more deep explorations into rare coins, their hidden histories, and the fascinating world of numismatics, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss an episode from our channel where everyday change reveals extraordinary stories. Last, today we're diving deep into the astonishing story of the 1984 1-cent coin, a small copper-plated zinc disc that's taken the numismatic world by storm with a shocking estimated value of $106 million due to its wild errors, mysterious origins, minting mistakes, and countless theories surrounding its extraordinary rarity. And if you're a collector, enthusiast, or even just curious about how a single penny could ever be worth more than $100 million, then sit back, stay tuned, and get ready for an unbelievable journey into the incredible world of this exceptional 1984 Lincoln cent, a coin whose value isn't just in its metallic composition, but in the historical oddities, minting anomalies, and the fevered demand of collectors desperate to own one of the rarest and most debated coins in recent American history, because this isn't just a story about currency. It's about mystery, human error, and the fascinating possibilities that lie within the United States Mint's production lines, where one small slip can turn into a multi-million-dollar phenomenon. And it all begins in 1984, a year not especially known for rare coins but which has become infamous in collector circles because of this unexpected penny that emerged with a variety of baffling and valuable features, the most prominent being a double die error that sharply and visibly distorts Lincoln's earlobe. One of the most iconic and heavily documented die errors ever seen on a modern cent, where, instead of a clear and smooth engraving, the earlobe appears doubled or ghosted, creating an effect that even the untrained eye can identify with minimal magnification. And although doubling in coins isn't altogether unheard of, what makes this particular double die error stand out is how precise, dramatic, and easily visible the doubling is, which has caused this specific version of the 1984 cent to gain immense popularity and become the subject of countless grading reports, auction listings, and collector discussions. And while many double die coins have achieved fame over the decades, none quite captured the imagination or fetched such consistent premiums as the 1984 doubled ear variety, with examples in mint state condition often trading for thousands and even tens of thousands of dollars, depending on grading and visual clarity. And yet, the coin at the center of our focus today isn't just any double die, it's a unique, high-grade, near-perfect specimen of this rare error, rumored to have several additional anomalies layered on top of the famous doubled earlobe, including striking anomalies like off-center minting, die cracks, planchet striations, clipped planchets, and inconsistent rim formation, suggesting that not only was this coin struck by a misaligned or misused die, but also during a period of mint machinery instability. And when you combine these stacking errors with its pristine preservation and the fervor of collectors seeking the perfect specimen, it's no surprise that when this coin last changed hands in a private auction, It allegedly did so for a jaw-dropping $106 million, making it the most valuable Lincoln cent ever recorded and firmly establishing its place in numismatic lore. And yet, skeptics have always asked, how can a penny, a coin with a face value of 1 cent, be worth more than some paintings by Van Gogh, luxury yachts, or even private islands? And the answer lies in the intersection of rarity, demand, historic significance, grading perfection, and the intoxicating allure of mint-era coins. Because while coins like this begin life as mass-produced items made for simple commercial exchange, the presence of an unmistakable era transforms them into unique artifacts which can never be replicated, and thus become the holy grail for certain collectors who believe that owning such a coin is the equivalent of possessing a piece of American minting history frozen in time and preserved against all odds. And when you realize that the 1984 double-die cent wasn't supposed to happen, that the doubling on Lincoln's ear was never caught by quality control, that only a fraction of these ever made it into circulation, and that fewer still exist in uncirculated or gem condition, then the monetary value begins to make sense. Especially when you consider that many of the known examples show only faint doubling or have endured significant wear, reducing their appeal to elite collectors who only seek the absolute finest. And so when a nearly flawless 1984 double-die penny appears, especially one with additional layers of era like off-center striking, reverse die chips, reverse delamination, or uneven reading on the rim, it becomes more than a coin. It becomes a one-of-a-kind masterpiece, a product of chaos, chance, and pure minting luck, and just as importantly, a magnet for wealthy investors and collectors with deep pockets and a deep passion for rare coins. And then there's the controversy. The chatter within the numismatic community that some of these ultra-rare 1984 cents may have come from internal mint experimentation or unauthorized after-hours striking, a theory fueled by the fact that a few known specimens carry mysterious anomalies not consistent with ordinary mint errors, such as reverse layering, incorrect die pairing, or even curious metallurgical properties that suggest a different copper-zinc ratio, which has led some conspiracy theorists to believe that these pennies were the product of a rogue mint employee, or part of a now-lost experimental batch that was never meant to be circulated, which only adds to the legend and allure, because if there's anything collectors love more than rarity, it's mystery, and the 1984 penny delivers both in spades, especially when you factor in stories of lucky individuals who found these coins in pocket change, thrift store cash registers, or old jars of coins inherited from relatives, only to discover later through online research or a professional appraisal that they were holding a piece of multi-million-dollar history in their hands. And when one such coin sold for over $100 million in a tightly guarded private transaction, it didn't just make headlines, it ignited a wildfire of excitement among everyday people searching their spare change in hopes of discovering the next great minting mistake. And yet the value isn't just speculative, it's supported by a solid foundation of collector behavior, auction records, market demand, rarity data, and certified population reports from top grading companies like PCGS and NGC, which list only a handful of top-grade examples in their databases, proving that the supply is incredibly limited while the demand continues to skyrocket, especially as more collectors from around the world take an interest in American coinage. And with digital marketplaces making rare coin trading more global than ever before, these iconic eras have moved beyond niche collectors into mainstream investor interest, with some financial advisors even suggesting rare coins as a hedge against inflation, further fueling demand and driving prices to previously unthinkable heights. And in the case of the 1984 1-cent coin, what began as a simple production flaw now represents a unique fusion of art, history, mystery, rarity, and value. And as more time passes and more of these coins are lost, damaged, or locked away in private vaults, their scarcity will only increase, making this particular 1984 penny even more desirable and valuable. And for those lucky enough to find one or already possess one, the future holds immense financial potential. So keep your eyes open, check every penny you come across, and you just might stumble upon a fortune hiding in plain sight. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the jaw-dropping tale of a tiny coin with a $106 million price tag, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another story about the extraordinary value hiding in ordinary change.